Welcome back to another YouTube video, you guys. Today we're tuned in to something special that I think you guys are going to enjoy. Don't go nowhere, it's going to be interesting. And it's a truly wild video that we're going to check out. I just seen the title, New Lucifer Bee with Devil-like Horns Found in Australia. We're always seeing new bugs like this get formed, but let's see what this one's about.
An Australian scientist
Hold up. Excuse me, y'all.
has discovered a new
I gotta be able to hear it, you feel me?
native bee species with tiny horns, appropriately naming it Megachial lucifer. Well, the bee was found while observing a rare wildflower which only grows in Western Australia's Goldfields region. The horns are only present on the female bee and may be used as a defence mechanism or to gather pollen or nectar. Well, to get more on that, let's speak to Dr. Kit Prendergast, a native bee ecologist.
Dang, that's crazy, y'all. So the bee has horns on it, right? Like the devil. But the horns are for pollinating more.
Region. The horns are only present on the female bee and may be used as a
and they're only on the female bee, like she said.
Defence mechanism or to gather pollen or nectar. Well, to get more on that, let's speak to Dr. Kit Prendergast, a native bee ecologist and an adjunct professor at Curtin University. She was the scientist who actually discovered the bee. Well, welcome to BBC News. Big story, big discovery. Just tell us how you ended up finding a new species of bee. I mean, haven't they all been found?
Yeah.
So, tragically, or maybe excitingly, there are so many undescribed bee species in the world, but also in Australia. You'd think that we'd have a pretty good handle on our native bee biodiversity, but we don't. There's about 1,700 described species, but we estimate there's about 500 undescribed species.
Dang.
That is the number of...
How many did she say? There's how many bees there
There's about 500 undescribed species. That is the number of mammal species in Australia. So, but we estimate there's about 500 undescribed species. That is the number that we don't. There's about 1,700 described species, but we estimate there's about 500 undescribed species. That is the number of mammal species in Australia. So,
they know about
huge amount.
They think there's over 1,700 of them. But they know about 500 of them. That's crazy. So I wonder how they get the estimations.
Amount of work to be done, but also an exciting time for discoveries. I've done lots of native bee surveys where I found species that are undescribed, but this one caught my eye, and it's the second new species I've described. The first one I called Leoproctus zephyr. Zephyr is my dog, so I like having a bit of fun with the names of new species.
Let's talk about that, because we're looking at the screen here. We can see those little horns on the bee. I think we can hopefully show that picture again so you can see the little horns. So tell us about the name Lucifer and a little bit more about why you ended up choosing that.
Yeah, so when you describe a new species, you get to decide the name. And Megachial lucifer, the females have these devil-like horns. And I thought Lucifer, in consultation with my co-author, was the perfect name for this devilish bee. The other reason why we chose Lucifer rather than,
I guess that is a good name for the bee, since it is a beautiful animal still, and Lucifer was a beautiful angel. And it's got horns like the devil, so that's probably what she's going to say why she didn't call it the devil.
Devil or horny or something like that was... So species
Horny.
names are in Latin, and Lucifer actually means light bringer. So I'd hoped that by describing this new species, I could also bring to light the issues facing native bees, such as under-recognition, many undescribed species, many species that aren't protected, areas that haven't been surveyed, and needing to protect and conserve our native bees in the face of things like habitat loss due to mining or agriculture. And I must say, I also really love the Netflix show Lucifer. So, Tom Ellis, if you're watching this, I hope you're really pleased with having a mega chili Lucifer.
Yeah, it's quite cool to be named, have a bee named after you. Just remember that next time you name a bee. I'd quite like one named after me. How significant is this discovery, Kit?
Yeah.
So I think it's any new species discovery and description is significant because without having a name and a formal description, that species will just go under the radar. It won't be able to be studied, it won't be able to be listed for protection. And so giving a name to a species is, the first step in ensuring it's documented, it's conserved, and it's part of our understanding of the amazing diversity that has evolved on this planet.
Just very briefly, Kit, do you think there's enough backing
That's
to
what's up.
protect native bee species?
There definitely needs to be more funding and more investment. And I love native bees so much. I've dedicated my life to them. I have tattoos of them. And I
If we know about all them bees, there's got to be some type of funding behind it. But maybe it's not enough. You never know. Funding like that never is enough. So, and sorry, I had to bring the mic closer so y'all can hear me. Can you hear me now? I'm sorry.
am now creating in my spare time Australian native bee conservation strategy. I've been working hard at this, consulting with my colleagues both in Australia as well as overseas, including in the UK. Simon Potts is an amazing bee researcher and putting together a science-based, evidence-based Australian native bee conservation strategy so that we have a unifying framework to protect our native bees. Of course, we need funding, but we also need people on the ground arming them with the right knowledge so that they can conserve native bees. And, the number one thing for conserving native bees is protecting native habitat.
Well, Kit, I think that's my favourite story.
She probably the only one that went near this bee. Probably everybody was scared of it, and she finally got near it and named it and not tamed it, but made it a part of our documentation and brought it to life when other people probably was scared of it. And that bee probably people heard about it and know about it, but probably never would have got near it to study it because of the stigma of the horns or whatever, looking scary looking.
Of the day. Thank you so much for
Awesome.
joining us. Kit Prendergast, native bee ecologist.
But thank you guys for tuning into this video. It was an interesting one. I'm trying to find the best content for you guys so you can all enjoy some of the best content. Hopefully we can find that and y'all can enjoy it. But until next time, y'all let me know any videos that I should watch or should check out, and I will do so. But until next time, y'all, stay tuned. Peace out.